All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And for those of you who are listening to the actual podcast version of this, we're live streaming right now. So, yeah, hey. If anyone happens to be watching us on YouTube, come on, Mike, give it up. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, so we decided to try out something new that we can fuck up, and this seems to be our next fuck up adventure, right?
Right, exactly. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, we've had this. God, I don't even remember when. So we've had Riverside for a year and a half now, and I
Yeah.
think that the when we upgraded was last a year ago on Thanksgiving. So I think that's
Mhm.
when we got the opportunity to do this whole live stream thing, which we could do through YouTube and Facebook and I don't know, a couple other ones, LinkedIn, which we're not going to do. I don't even know that I want to do Facebook. I figured YouTube would be the I don't know, cool place to start. So
Sure, that's where all the kids are going.
yeah, right, right. All the kids are up on the YouTube. So hey, I've got my sober not mature shirt on.
I've got a banana splits t-shirt on.
Well, you know what? That works. I like that. Yeah, look at that. One banana, two banana.
Right.
All right. So I mean, obviously we got a lot to talk about. We'll see if anyone happens to actually join us. The live stream is working. So yeah. Hey. All right.
Hey,
But hey, worst case scenario, if you are listening to the podcast version of this, go over to our YouTube channel because this live version will be saved on our YouTube channel. Sober not mature on there, the same thing as it is everywhere else. And I'm guessing that this could be some sort of a galactic mess up, fucked up thing. So if nothing else, enjoy the fuck upness, right?
right.
All right.
Sure. Whatever.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about. Do you want to talk about the first step tonight, or I mean,
I
obviously,
mean, are we doing that again? We
what the?
did it last year.
Oh wait, oh shit. Well, okay, so the steps only have to be done once. Okay.
Now that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we kind of covered the steps. Go back and fucking listen to them, man. I don't know. I mean, we can. I
It's up to you.
eh, yeah, I didn't think we were going to, New year, new me.
Right. I hate, you know what? I hate the fact that you said that, but I actually love the fact
Mhm.
that you said that because we can make fun
Right.
of it. But why don't we do this? Let's get your fucking reading out of the way, then we'll decide if we want to talk about the step, do the step. If not, that's fine. We don't have to do it.
All right.
We're done. We're
Let's do
we're
my
cured.
reading.
I'm
Ooh,
cured. Fuck it.
might as well take advantage of the technology.
Exactly. Show and
Yes,
tell.
right. And you know what? You can order one of these at our store. All right.
Yes.
Jesus. I don't like this. All right. Can you tell, kids? All right. I like being, just the audio. It's yeah. Okay. So I'm out of my comfort zone.
Right.
Cool.
That's how we grow. I
All
heard.
right. Eh, I- no
No
growth at
growth.
the moment.
Okay, you could show
No,
somebody.
no.
That's a cool part about video. If you do grow, hey, ladies, I got gray sweatpants on. Look at this. Ooh.
This may shock you, but I have black pants on.
All right, do your reading.
All right. This is actually today's January 5th. I liked it. The God grant me, if you've been reading along. I know Bill has. Some of you may not read this book, but we read it every day. And they've been talking about the Serenity Prayer, breaking it down and doing stuff. And this is the last line of the Serenity Prayer, January 5th. And the wisdom to know the goddamn difference. Oh, no, wait. No, just the difference. Um, let's see. Some of us once thought that using alcohol or drugs made us smarter and more creative. In reality, it lowered our inhibitions and our standards, which was much more likely to lead us to the destruction which is much more likely to lead us to the destruction of wisdom than creation. True wisdom reflects and responds to our higher power's rule of order. Wisdom is about order and creating, about movement and flow, about ideas, principles coming together. Wisdom is something we like. Wisdom is something we like and want and changes us from the inside out. It is a treasure. When we were controlled by our addiction, we couldn't find and respond to the order found in principles, which provide the basis of wisdom. We found only chaos and destruction. Our recovery brings us back to the natural order of things, back to the flow and rhythms of nature and our higher power. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me notice the wisdom that surrounds me today. Help me see and hear the order in things that make them beautiful and wise. Today's action says action because this is a program of action. Today, I will sit down and write out 5 to 10 pieces of wisdom that I've learned in recovery. How will I use these pieces of gold to help me and others have a better life?
Pieces of gold.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that was today's, right? And I think that
That was today's.
I think I posted a piece of that this morning. But once again, man, as I'm listening to you read, it's like reading something or listening to something new. Seriously, I hate the fact that I have no ability to retain that shit. It's there
Right.
because when we're talking about stuff, clearly this shit pops up along the way as we're talking.
Right.
So it's there. It's going in there.
Uh-huh.
You throw enough shit in my brain, some of it sticks. I just can't remember it right off the bat. That's all. But
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it was, 12 hours ago, 13, 14 hours ago for some of us. Right.
yeah, it was. I do my readings at it's probably within coming up on that 12 hours ago. So, but so the first thing I wrote down was so oh yes, it's like God, why I can't read my fucking handwriting either. These are my notes. See, now everyone can see the scribble. It's
I can't
fucking.
read that either.
I know it's fucking terrible. So smarter and more creative. That was the first thing because that's like what we think it makes us smarter and more creative.
Mm-hmm.
Destruction of wisdom, which I liked, and then obviously chaos and destruction. And then the last thing that I wrote down was the I think from the prayer part that seeing the wisdom that surrounds me or us today. So the first three things clearly, and that's kind of funny where it says, well, the clearly I think that we were all delusional. If we're not admitting that we're delusional, then we're still fucking
We're
delusional.
still delusional.
so how many times and you probably heard it more in the I'm guessing, and I'm just going back to your music days. I've heard a lot of people talk about that they think that they're more creative when they're drinking, using that sort of thing, and
Oh,
musicians
absolutely.
specifically. So did you hear that a lot then?
Oh, I fucking believed it. Yeah. Of course. Right. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna play way better after I smoke a joint and do a line and have a few beers in me. I'm looser. I'm more creative, man. Yeah, it was bullshit. It was pure bullshit. But it didn't stop me. I'm delusional and I believed my lies. And yeah, why wouldn't I believe that?
Right.
Sure.
Well, and the only thing that and it didn't really help my golf game, but I thought it did
Hmm.
because like the game of golf is it if you're up there and you're especially if you're on the first hole and you're with a group. I played a lot of outings and stuff like that, so you're with people you don't know in like a work situation, and you're worried about just flubbing the ball, hitting a fucking worm burn or something like that. And I always thought that, having a few beers, whatever it is, ooh, I'm relaxed. I'm not
Hmm.
going to be as
Sure.
nervous. Um, didn't always help. It didn't necessarily
No,
help my golf game, but in my head it did.
of
And
course.
and I know I told this story before too, or mentioned this, but when I used to speak in front of a lot of people, prior to that, I used to get so nervous I would get almost this, uncontrollable like gag reflex. I'd have to go in the bathroom because I thought I was going to throw up.
Mm,
So what I started doing over time was taking a couple shots of whiskey in the morning, finger, it's in a, in a conference room. It's in a, like a classroom setting, but in a conference room with a stage type of thing. So I'm not in front of anyone. So I'm thinking, what does it matter? I just
right.
relax myself and I'll do better. But, thankfully I never fucked myself up or anything like that. Never missed the mark, as they say. But
Hmm.
yeah, it didn't help. I don't think it helped. So,
Right. Oh yeah, shooting pool, right? The
right,
first game sucks. You get those couple of beers in you. That second game, you do pretty damn good, and then at that point, you've got 6 or 7 beers in you, and the rest of the games are shit. But yeah,
right.
that second game, man, with those 3 beers in you, you played better. So you proved it to yourself that the booze made you better until it didn't. But we didn't learn that lesson until much, much later.
Well, and that's a fun part too. And I always go back to our friend Rob, that said that was leading that one time at the Keating Center, and said that he'd drink before work, and he always knew what
Hmm.
where the mark was, and he just said one day he missed the mark, and
Hmm.
I know what that is. I've had that happen a couple of times. So
Right.
the next one again was destruction of wisdom, which I mean, I think that's a clear one. But the other one, the
Mm.
last one I wrote down, obviously, on that first part was chaos and destruction. So I don't
Right.
remember exactly how it was brought up in there, but I mean, clearly, whatever we thought was bringing us wisdom, we weren't. So that's that destruction part,
Hmm.
and we caused. I think I could be wrong here.
Mm.
We caused chaos and
Mm.
destruction. Is that kind of where those go?
Yeah, yeah. I know I did.
Right, right. So, but the last thing too, though, is the wisdom that surrounds us or me or we today.
Mm.
So I mean, that's the huge thing. Uh, we joke, that we know shit and blah blah blah, which we don't. But
Mm.
I mean, really, we don't know anything. The things we know, we've stolen, we've taken up along
Right.
the way, and all that stuff. But we are surrounded by wisdom today. All the people that we know that are sober
Absolutely.
and all that stuff. Even fucking normies, right?
Oh yeah, well, we're conscious and open to learning new things and be able to process the wisdom correctly and go, hey, that's pretty wise.
Right, right. Actually,
Right.
actually take a suggestion and not think that we got to do it all on our own, right?
Exactly.
So, do you just the Serenity Prayer in general? Do you say that
Mm.
like every day as part of your prayers, routines, anything like that, or does that come up all the time, or no?
I don't. No. Early sobriety, yeah, I did just because it was so prevalent. Um, no, it's not part of my routine. It's not part of my regular deal. Clearly go to a meeting, you do the serenity prayer, uh, go to a retreat and do it 1,400 times a day. Uh, right. But it's because in early sobriety, hearing it all the time. I mean, at the Keating Center in groups, we started every group with the Serenity Prayer and ended with the Lord's Prayer, and same as a meeting. So we were doing it several times a day, and yeah, definitely in early sobriety, it was a tool. It was helpful. I did do it more um on my own even occasionally. No, I really don't much today, but because I've done it so many times over and over and over these past whatever how many decades, no, not quite. But done it so many times that it's kind of ingrained. It is part of the wisdom that I have. And
Ooh,
and when I do it at a meeting now, and when I do it now, I truly do it, and I truly, I threw that goddamn in there when I read it out of the book. Um, I always swear when I do it anymore.
really?
I'm quietly in my head, yeah.
Right.
Um, it's funny. I'm treasurer at my home group, which is really the only meeting I go to anymore once a week. I've been pretty honest about that. Occasionally I'll hit another meeting, but my home group I hit every week. And usually when they're doing the serenity prayers, when the lead's starting, and I'm usually in the back putting away the baskets and tidying up and whatever, um, putting the tickets away because we have raffle tickets here in Cleveland at meetings. I have no idea why, but we do. Um, I always wondered if they had an open bar at GA meetings, but anyway. Um,
You know what? That's kind of a good point there, isn't it? Right?
but so I'm usually in the back by myself and I do it my own way. Of course, being the atheist that I am, I never started with that word. I just, say, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage. I always enunciate that one and hit that really hard. Courage to accept, change things I can, and the wisdom to know what the fuck I'm. Anyway, yes, and I always do that in the back. Yeah, I
Right.
do. Yeah, so I rambled. I don't know if that answered your question or not, but no, I don't do it every day. But when I do it, I fucking do it.
Well, and it not only answered my question, but I like that every once in a while in now that we're on video, you'd probably see you saw me take a drink of coffee. First of all, I
I
put my
was. You
coffee
know what? I'm not watching you.
right. I'm just saying, okay, if anyone else is watching either one of us, I used to put I have a desk, this little portable desk here. I used to put my coffee right on the corner, and I reached for it the one time, and that's when I dumped it all over me while we were recording.
Mm.
So I keep it away from me at arm's length. So as I'm sliding out of
Little wisdom.
yeah, the wisdom to not spill coffee on myself again.
Uh-huh.
But so what's funny is that there's a lot of times when we're on here that I ask a question or something like that. I'll mute, and go get a drink of coffee, and then you're like, nope. And then there's silence. I'm like, oh fuck, reaching for the mute button. And then
Uh-huh.
other times, you'll go on about something and actually explain, in more depth, which I don't know. I appreciate both of them because one makes me laugh, the other
Right.
one I think might help other people. So, so it's
Yeah.
all good. But
Either way, they're both honest.
right. So the Serenity Prayer, and I don't know, when I started it. It must have been really early because this set of prayers that I do when I do my prayers in the morning and at night, there's only one part that I would consider actual prayer. The other
Mhm.
part is it's almost a list of people that, I say keep them healthy and safe or watch over them, that sort of thing.
Right.
But it's more of a I don't know, it's more of a list type of thing. So
Mhm.
when I get down to what my true there it is. Everyone can see air quotes if you're watching air quote. My true prayers, I start off with the Serenity Prayer. And what's funny is that's the only time that I don't mind actually verbalizing the word God, which is
Mm.
weird.
Hmm.
And in a meeting, after the Serenity Prayer, I don't say Amen, but when I do it in my prayers, I do.
Hmm.
It's weird. I've got it's habits, these
Right.
weird habits that I've
Sure.
gotten into. Um, we've been really, really open about this. I mean, Mike, I've heard that for years or not heard that for years, if you want to put it that way, that you have not said the word, God in the beginning of the Serenity Prayer,
Mhm.
or Amen at the end, I don't believe.
Nope.
But in the same thing with the Lord's Prayer, when it's just, you say your one portion,
Mm.
your will, not mine, or to do thy
Yeah.
will, or
Thy
whatever that
will be
piece is.
done.
Yeah,
Right.
and again, try to pick out a word of that out of order, and I can't fucking think of it. So fucking stupid.
Right.
But
Well, I got it because it's the only part I do. Yeah, thy will be done. The rest of the time, I'm singing "All You Need Is Love" in my head.
right, which is perfect. And the first
Yep.
time you told me that, I thought that was wonderful, and I still do. But so we've been very, very open about neither one of us are God people and that sort of thing. But I pick and choose my God moments
Mhm.
when I bring God into my life and into my mouth and into my heart. Wow, that sounded
Into your
terrible.
mouth.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
gonna say. As soon as I said that, I'm like, yeah, come here, God. bring,
Get
bring
in
that
my
over here.
mouth.
So, we got to talk about memes here in a minute, but remind me of God in the hole in his hand, okay, or
Mm.
Jesus in the hole in his hand. But are we anything else on the reading at all? Anything else? Any other?
No, no.
Okay,
Other than the action, and I get to cheat on this one. It said write down 5 to 10. Well, I've got 3 because
okay,
they're written down on this little piece of paper that I've used
nice.
that I that I use for my bookmark, separate from my bookmark for the day. The one I've had for over 10 years. Um, that I've used, and my phone's going off. Cool. Yeah, that I've used for my bookmark, like when I was going to do group, I would mark the page I was going to read, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm doing it for this. Anyway, so here it is right here. And my 3 bits of wisdom that I've written down. And this is one of my favorite ones. I must not expect what I'm not prepared for. Love that one.
Right.
Which means, right, because I expected everything before. And I sure
Right.
as hell wasn't prepared for it, which means I need to do the work first before I get what I want. Um, let's see, what's the other one? Oh yeah, we can't sing because we're happy. We're happy because we sing. Again, do the action, and then the results are from the action. And the other one is hearts and minds attuned to the welfare of others, which I always have to work on. But yes,
Right.
so those are my little bits of wisdom that I've written down and I've had in this book for a long time.
I wrote down nothing. So thank you. The first one that you read off, we've talked about that before, if I'm not mistaken, because you brought that up at one point, and I like that. It's
Right.
just basically doing the work, and things come to you and not expecting it, and blah blah blah. I mean, we had this.
Right.
We had actually, from what I remember, a decent conversation about it. Don't know what episode, but if you're new to us, go back and listen to all the fucking episodes and find it.
Right.
And then tell me.
Yeah.
tell me where it was.
Exactly.
But so anything else on that? Because I think the reading, I like the reading. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, cool. All right, so so memes real quick, and I don't know if you saw my post, but we got, when I was there. Yeah, I'll tell the God thing in a minute, the Jesus thing with the hole in the hand, but the I think it was when I was out in Cleveland last weekend, because I'm obviously out there for New Year's Eve. We played a poker thing, which is a lot of fun. And I had posted something, and I can't remember what it was. And if anyone follows us on Instagram, I post some weird shit. And the weird thing is that 90% of the memes that I post, I've taken from other pages on Instagram, which means they're already out there on the platform. I'm not pulling these
Right.
out of some weird thing or making them up or anything like that. So they're already out there. But we were flagged on one over the weekend while I was there, and that was almost immediate after I posted it. And then yesterday morning, I think, whatever it was, I got tagged on another one. And what it does, it comes up and it says, please consider, like they're asking you, please consider deleting this post. If you don't, it could affect the reach, who your account, all these different things. And I'm like, fuck me, man, because I know for a fact it was one that I just took from another page like the day before. So once again, it is out there,
Right.
So the only thing that I can figure, and I put a post on it just to let people know, because if we've been busy or I've been busy and I haven't posted a lot over a certain number of months, this has happened, we'll get like a message from somebody and they'll say, hey, you're kind of falling off here. Where's your nasty content? I'm missing it,
Right. Where's the dick jokes?
Right. I'm like, well, send me some. I repost it, but so just kind of let everyone know. The only thing that I can figure is somebody or multiple people had to have complained and were probably being watched, because if it's on the platform, because I'm like, if it's AI stuff, which I know that it is, it's computer generated, whatever that they do, because they've said it before on things that I've gotten flagged on. I don't know what the criteria is. You can set up fucking anything with that, but either way, like I said in the post, we can't afford to get fucked with on Instagram. I hate to say that we need it, but we do. I hate to rely on a platform like that, but it's a vehicle for us, and we need it, so we have to behave a little bit. But I was kind of fucking with people. I'm like, you know what? Those motherfuckers can't censor us on here, so we can tell all the dick jokes, all the shit. It was a centaur or a centaur with with a penis. Where do you put the penis on it? Down underneath, back on the legs, on the hindquarters. So you
on
put
the
it
rear legs, or jutting
front leg.
out from the front legs. Right. Sure, that's a good question.
And it was somebody.
Something
Yeah,
to
it was
think
a great
about.
question. And somebody drew the penis on there, and it was a double picture, and I put one or two. I'm like, everyone choose. And I hadn't looked at it, but my contact just popped out. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh well. Yeah, either way. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's on the ground. Okay, I'll find it. Oh, here it is.
Bill's going to reach down and grab his contact. This is perfect for video. See, this is why we did video. So we could watch things fly out of Bill's eye.
Oh, look, the contact. That's okay. I have my contact case here. I'll go one-eyed. I got two one-eyed bandits. Hello. And the good thing is it's my left eye.
Hey. So we've got centaurs and cyclopses. This is all the mythological shit going on.
Right. And that's the good part about
I can't add anymore.
No, you're fine. I'm good. I'm still talking. I'm fine. But I mean, all it is just my left eye is the better eye of my two anyhow, so I'm fine. But
All
so
right.
anyhow, the the whole point of that is that I don't know how we got flagged, but I don't want to fuck with that and lose it. So I'm just going to tame
Right.
myself, and I figured out kind of that it's the literally the picture memes that get picked up more than the words. So I can still
Mm-hmm.
post stuff that just has kind of like weird words and shit on it, and then I'm fine. But oh,
Mm-hmm.
so the I saw this meme that I didn't take and I didn't grab yet, but it was um it was like something about this almost like it was a text message or a like a blog post with Jesus in it, and then this line pops in and says this, hey, ask Jesus if he can fit his cock through the hole in his hand. And then you see the next
All
post
right.
says, I think we have a troll, and I look at the name and it's Satan. So Satan hacked in and started
Mm.
asking all these Jesus or all these nasty things about Jesus. I'm like, that'd be a fucking fun one to post, but now I can't. That was today, so I'm like, I can't grab that one.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
but anyhow, so yeah, whatever.
That's
I
one of
think
my favorite jokes. Right. Why can't you see they keep falling through the holes in his hand? Right.
Yeah, and I knew the punchline. As soon as you said fucking M&M's, I'm like, got it. I know where that one's going. So okay, but that was it on the meme stuff. But either way, we gotta behave ourselves a little bit on Instagram. I do.
Mm.
You you have not done anything incorrect or wrong. I have, so there it is.
Right.
But
Well, I don't
the other thing,
Instagram, so that's why.
I know, I know,
Trust me,
I
if I
know,
was on Instagram, I mean, I've been shut down on Facebook plenty of times.
right?
So,
Inadvertently too. Yeah,
yeah.
the one time you got shut down commenting on my post, that was the
Hmm.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High thing, and it ended up being the naked chick in the background.
I posted a clip of Spicoli in his room, and behind him
Right.
was a Playboy centerfold on the wall, and they sent me to Facebook jail because I showed a boobie.
Right, right. So anyhow, I for a minute, I for like not even a minute, for about 3 seconds, I felt bad about that because you were responding to my
Mm,
post, and I'm like, fuck it, that's
right.
funny. That's really funny.
Hmm.
So
It was. It was.
all right. So speaking of funny, I've been listening to other podcasts again, and again, this one particular podcast, which if I make fun of a podcast, I'm not going to name them because it's not fair. They're not here to defend themselves. But
Hmm.
so the opening of the podcast, and it's just an audio podcast, same as ours, but it opens this and that, and then it's always, and this is how it opens. So pretend like you and I are opening. I'd be like, hey, welcome to Sober Not Mature. I'm Bill.
Hmm. No,
I'm
Mike.
Mike. Yes. So that's how that part would start. And then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Mike, welcome to another episode. So Mike, how are you doing today?
Well, gee, Bill, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Bill?
And that's how it fucking starts off. And I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my
Mm.
God. So it just, I don't know, little shit like that. It's just this fake niceness, you know?
Hmm.
And these
Right.
are two individuals who I know for a fact they know each other really well. I've listened to this podcast here and there, so I mean they know each
Sure.
other well, so that's fine. But I don't know. It just I shouldn't make fun of other things, and we are who we are, and you and I are who we are. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd rather whatever this is, and we've said it before. If we stay small and we stay, just this tight little group of people and followers and
Hmm.
listeners and all that sort of stuff. Um, just being our own little quirky selves and being different
Right.
than other people. I would rather
Hmm.
be, this smallish thing and just be ourselves and be on here and do the things the way that we do things, than to try to
Right.
do I don't know, any of this
I
other
don't know.
stage
Right.
shit. I
Try to
just
be
don't.
yeah, local news or some bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Hi,
Right.
we're the Weather Channel. Yeah.
Yeah. And you
Let's
know
have
what?
some fake banter between us.
That is, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what it seems like, is that it's
Hmm.
this sitcom type of stuff. Well, you see it on real news too, but sitcoms will
Sure.
make fun of
Yeah.
it, the banter between the news anchors, and then throw it over to the weather
Right.
person. Hey, Rob, how's that weather today? This stupid, the
Well, gee,
voice in
Ollie,
that.
about it. It's gonna be dry.
and then and then it's going to be moist, just fucking
Right.
moist.
And then
So
it'll be light, and then it'll be dark.
yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got their own thing. Hey, you do you. That's perfectly fine. But man, it just I don't know. I would much rather just sit here and we grow anyhow a little bit here and there, but I'd rather
Yeah.
never grow any bigger than we are now and just be real than not. I mean, I want to grow. I know you do too, but I
Sure.
don't know.
But yeah. Anybody that's entertained bullshit fucking banter between two morons, we don't
Right,
want you.
right,
Go somewhere else.
right. And I would, well, I don't know. Maybe some of those people might listen to us too, but who knows? Who knows? But hey, if you listen to podcasts like that, no offense, if you enjoy part of that, that's cool, and then stop over here for real shit. So okay, enough
Right.
of that. All right, so you know what? How speaking of followers and stuff like that in our nice little tight knit
Hmm.
group, how about a nice comment from one of our followers?
All right.
Um, there was a
Gee,
guy who
Bill, why don't
was.
you read that comment?
I was okay, Mike. I've got it right here. So, on obviously on Instagram, this guy was making a list of different sober pages on Instagram that he follows. I don't know if the guy's a listener or not, but I think he's been. I know the page. I don't know how long he's been a follower, but I see him around.
Hmm.
So, uh,
Sure.
he this whole list of probably 6, 7, or 8 different pages. So what he did, he list out the name of the page and then what he basically his impression of the page and why he follows them. So
No.
for us, it was obviously at sober not mature. If they're not careful, these guys might give inappropriate a good name. Um,
Nice.
consistently hilarious for not mature audiences only! Explanation
Hmm.
point. And I was just like, and I thanked him. I'm like, that's fucking perfect. But I
Yeah,
just love the line. Yeah, if you're not careful, they might give inappropriate a good name. So I appreciated that.
that
But
is cool. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's again every time I'm not saying we try to solicit comments like that, but when we try to say, hey, give us stars, do this and do that, nobody does, and
Right.
it's not nobody does, but rare. These
Mm.
things mean more to I think more to what well, I know they do. They mean more to us than 5 stars are great. Do it if you want. That's
Hmm.
awesome. But these just random comments like that people mention us in is just it's fun. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it. So we both do.
when people get it.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of getting it, what do you think? Should we
Mm.
take a should we get into that break? I can't I
All
can't
right, then
fucking read
we'll
the
be
time
back.
even.
I know. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, it's good time. So we will be back and get some more of it right after these words from our sponsor.
All right, everyone, welcome back. And for those of you, or if anyone's actually watching us, that probably looks stupid, but that's what we do.
That's why I
and
waved.
I know. I was sitting there, but I mean, I'm missing one contact, so I usually I write down the time here. Again, I'm giving away all my secrets, so I know where to find the split because
Hmm.
that's where we put our website commercial in there. But so I'm sitting there, I'm
They
like,
just heard it,
one,
man.
I know, just one fucking eye sitting there trying to read the time, so I knew where to get the split. But anyhow, so the other thing that I've been hearing on well, all about I know you've heard of dry January before. Certainly not something
Yeah.
that we do. Certainly not something that we would have done that would have worked for us, all those sort of things. But the right. So it's I mean there's things all throughout the year. There's dry July, sober October, there's September is alcohol awareness month, I think. Dry January, and then there's all these different things. There's always things going on, which perfect. That's part of the it's not something that we get into and that we do, but I think it does. And based on a little bit that I read and a few of the podcasts I listened to, statistics, as much as I fucking hate them, they were talking about some of them. First of all, where it started, I guess it started in the UK, and Matt from Sober Friends was talking about it. And
Mm-hmm.
going through all these different things about how it grew and all stuff, which is interesting, where it came from. So the fact that the awareness is out there is good. But it's almost like all these other different things where it seems like getting back to news people, everyone grabs onto the big
Mm-hmm.
story and then they kind of exploit it. And I'm not saying that everyone is exploiting it, but everyone is fucking talking about dry January. Everyone's having
Mm-hmm.
specific podcast episodes and doing all this stuff. And it's like it's almost like it's not almost it is it's a marketing ploy. So I'm like,
Sure.
okay. So I threw up a couple of our t-shirts and, hey, if you're doing dry January, fucking buy, life sucks better sober type of t-shirt. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
I joined in a little bit on that. But the thing of it is that I was kind of interested in, and anyone who listens to this, send us a message, and I'd be curious of. I know one person in particular, the podcast that I listened to, where the guy had some of the mental health things and kind of took a break and did all that stuff. He
Mm-hmm.
got sober after a number of attempts, but a dry January was what brought him into his full sobriety, and he's almost 9 years sober now. So I'd be kind of curious to see people that listen to us, did you do that one of those months? Was it a whim? I'm just curious more than anything. But the one thing that I wasn't hearing anyone fucking talk about, that I finally just glanced an article and I read it, is that it wouldn't work for people like us, because they started talking
Right.
about, the if you drink heavily, if you do all these different things, go see a doctor, go do all these different things. We talked about it because
Mm-hmm.
literally it could be deadly, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and it wouldn't work for us because we didn't
Right.
care. Yeah. It wasn't like we needed an excuse to drink. Tuesday and it's sunny. It's Wednesday and it's rainy. Doesn't fucking
Right.
matter. It's January and it's dry. No.
Right. Yeah, it was just like I said, it was interesting to me that it just seems like everyone, I don't know, but I suppose it's like anything else. You got to grab onto something, whether it's to grab, people's eyes or people's ears, or, from a merchandising standpoint. I get it.
Mm,
But it just seemed to be that nobody's talking about the fact of who shouldn't do this, because, once again, the friend that you knew that tried to detox,
right.
from alcohol on her own, and she
Mm-hmm.
died,
Yep.
so, I, I'll use the word God. Thank God that I didn't
Mm,
dry some, fucking dry January, because I didn't know. I didn't know you could die. I didn't know you could die from
mm-hmm.
alcohol withdrawals. I knew none of that until I got to the Keating Center, and that was a few months in, and I'm like, really? I'm like, almost like, good thing
Mm-hmm.
you didn't try to quit.
Right.
But no,
Exactly.
but seriously, man, I never knew that. But yeah, so hey, whatever brings you in is cool. We always talk about the solution being the same. Mike
Mm-hmm.
mentions that all the time. So whatever works for you, whatever your catalyst is, if it's dry January, if it's court, back problems, right, Mike? trying to
Right.
trying to get all these fucking people off your back. Whatever
Yep.
whatever brings you in. The end result is the solution's the same. But seriously, any of our listeners or followers or anything like that, if you came in under that sort of thing and you stayed sober, I would just be curious to figure out what people did. Did you just
Mm-hmm.
stay dry and quit, or did you go through a program, or what'd you do? So reach out.
Right.
That'd be interesting. I just more knowledge on my end, if nothing else, or our end. So anything else on dry January? You want to talk about it more?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I know. I know. I had no desire to talk about it either, but I had to
Right.
I had to bring it up. But
Right.
so we were talking
I
about,
don't follow little silly trends. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I don't care. I don't care.
you're not a Swiftie,
No.
right? She's a
Jonathan.
I don't even know who's Jonathan Swift.
He's an
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. But when I was in God, it was several months ago now, when I was up in Appleton babysitting for Ollie, or about to, Kimmy was getting ready, and she just had, whatever, I don't know, Pandora, Spotify, whatever, playing in the background on the TV, and
Mhm.
Ollie was standing in front of the TV, and she's like, she's like, you realize to me, she's like, you realize that's Taylor Swift? And I'm like, no. I said it wasn't
Mm,
like making my ears bleed or anything like that, but
right.
however long it was, however long it was playing for 15, 20 minutes, I clearly that's the most Taylor Swift that I've ever or probably will ever listen to, unless I'm in a
Mhm.
concentrated environment like that. So yeah,
Or a
she's a
concentration
she's
camp.
yeah, right. She's a fucking billionaire, and hey, more power to her. But
Yeah.
I just not my thing, not my thing.
Mm-mm.
All right, so we were talking, I don't know, within the last month about gifts and that sort of thing, giving and receiving and that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember if I took this out of something, but I wrote down in recovery, we need to understand the need or the difference between taking and receiving. And
Mhm.
when I think that was in a reading, but my question out of that was, do you find it difficult to accept gifts from people? And does it feel like you're taking something,
Mm.
if that makes any sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I have to be conscious of it. Was such a huge taker for so long. I do have to be careful that, run it through all that happy crap. But yes, I have to remember I have to be gracious and that people even though I'm a piece of shit, people still want to do things for me, and I have to be grateful and gracious and accept those things that they do for me. It's not easy. Talk to Chris. I mean, she calls me stubborn all the time because, do you want some help with that? No, I will do it myself.
Right.
Right, and it's not it's not so much that, part of it is that, I want to make sure it's done right because control issues. But no, but it is a lot of it is from being a taker for so long that I want to be self-sufficient. That's very important to me in my these days. So doing things on my own, doing things for myself, taking care of business was something that I costs for a very long time. But again, that being said, ha ha ha, I just said again. Um, but yes, but if I have to be gracious and allow people to do things for me too, because it's something that they want to do. And if anyone understands, it's us that doing things for other people makes your life better. Again, doesn't make fucking sense, but I got to remember it's a two-way street, and people do is making their life too, not taking care of me and all that shit like it used to be, but actually genuinely doing something for me out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah, it's for us. It is. It's definitely for me. Um, but I've got to consciously yes, be gracious when people want to do things for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I don't know, for years now, when it comes to, and I don't remember if it was since I got sober. I can't remember now if it was prior or not. Probably since, at least definitely since I got sober, but or specifically, is that like my kids, for instance, or anyone. I mean, I don't
Mm,
need my kids, for instance, but even Kathy, and I mean, mom used to always she'd give us something, gift card to whatever,
mm,
this and that. But I'd even tell her, I'm like, I don't need anything. I'm good. But she wanted to
right.
give, she's like, oh,
Mm,
here's $50 for here, or a gift card to Amazon, whatever it is, go buy yourself something
mm-hmm,
type of thing.
right.
But with the kids, I'm like, I don't need anything. The only thing I want is I want time, with them.
Mm-hmm,
Whether it's a birthday, whether it's Christmas, Father's Day, anything like that. Um, you don't need to do anything for me. Just, acknowledge whatever day it is, maybe, and then have lunch with me, spend some time with me. That's all I need.
mm-hmm,
And I'm
right.
kind of wondering if re- and I know now, the time is more valuable than anything, but I'm wondering if that's kind of where it came from. But the other thing too is that, like you said, it being careful with it, because and I wasn't really thinking about it on the other side, like you said, as far as we need to give this thing away, and we need to do things for other
Mhm.
people. It's part of what keeps us, the good good people that we are. Um,
Mhm.
but that's a good point. People do stuff for us because they want to. And if
Right.
one of my kids buys me a gift, I don't get irritated and say, "I told you I didn't want anything," because
Right.
I mean that would be, thankfully, that would be old me, not the new and
Mhm.
improved me, whatever that is. But
Right.
if they do get me something, um, I know it's because they thought of me and it's from the heart and whatever it is. Not that other gifts wouldn't be, but it's um it's more of a surprise, and it's really nice. And I
Mhm.
appreciate the time, but I also appreciate that extra effort, because they realize that they don't have to do anything. But they're like, no, I want to get you something little. It's something this that I
Mhm.
thought about you. So well, you got me a T-shirt from Mexico. Mike got me, I could probably can't. My headphones will reach over to that. I just did laundry today. The shirt's clean and it on
Ah.
my bed right now. But yeah, Mike got me when I got to Cleveland last week. I took my stuff up into the bedroom that I normally sleep in, and came downstairs. Was sitting there probably fucking around on my phone. And he's like, "Did you see your present?" I'm like, "What present?" And he's like, "It's in a bag on the desk." I'm like, "Hmm." So I can walk back upstairs and get it. And it is. It's a Harley shirt from Mexico with a really cool like skeleton skull on the back with like fucking knives or something like that. It's really cool. But
Right.
thoughtful, I mean,
Yeah.
full fucking well that you don't have to get me anything
Oh,
ever,
I know.
but
Right.
it was nice. It was very nice. And I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There I go, thinking of others again. God damn it.
Right. Well, and still, and this was in an early episode, so let's uh let's go back to the first year when we to our 1 year anniversary, the gifts that we got each other that year. so so here's the thing, and I've said it from the start. I've said this to Mike for years, long before we were doing this thing. He's more thoughtful than I am. And when it comes down to it, I know I'll tell him he's a better person, which he doesn't like to hear, but his thoughtfulness in the fact that he thinks of others and far more than I would still to this day. So our anniversaries are 4 days apart. Yes, mine's before his. I'm not going to fuck with him about it now because that's not the point of the story. I got it 4 months from now, then I'll fuck with
You
him.
can fuck with
But
me when I get.
right. See, I wasn't going to do it. It was easy. It was just fucking teed up there, but I
Right.
wasn't going to do it. But
I'm here for it.
so,
Gave you a gift.
right. So my anniversary, one 1 year anniversary is coming up, 4 days before his, and so he gets me this cover, a book cover for my big book, which again I should go grab that, and it's a nice black leather cover, and it's got a place in the front with a coin on it, and he gave me a book cover, and I'm like, well, that's really fucking nice. Plus, on top of that, we're in a meeting at the Keating Center, and he already had a coin in his pocket ready for me, which he got hijacked by this other guy, but still, he got big book cover with a little nice little coin in it, plus gave me my 1 year coin. Okay, so I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, that's really fucking nice. Now, long time ago, in a year, yes, we knew each other, we spent enough time together and that sort of thing, but we sure as fuck weren't close like we are now. But we were good friends,
Right.
But it
Yeah.
was just
Well,
really
we're
nice.
roomies.
Right, right. But still, I didn't never thought about it, never crossed my mind. But then again, that's me. So whether it was that night or the next day, I'm just kind of like, well, since you got me something, what do you want? and and at the time, you told me what you wanted, and that's what I got you. So what
Yeah.
did I get you?
You got me a cigarette rolling machine because I was poor and I needed to roll my own cigarettes. And yeah, people got me a very nice top of the line crank rolling machine. Yes. So I could sit there and in an hour's time roll a week's worth of cigarettes. It was beautiful.
Right. But my joke at the time was is that you got me something that was towards something that was helping, going towards saving my life, and I got you
Mm,
something that was basically helping you kill yourself. So that
right.
is that's the difference between Mike and I, and that's where I say that, again, he's a better human being than me because granted, I asked
Mm,
him, he said yes, give me the thing that that I'm using to kill myself, but I'm like,
right,
okay. He wanted a cigarette machine. What am I going to do?
right, exactly.
But
See, promises.
that
Now
is
I can actually do these now.
so when I first got to the Keating Center again, I guess, well, what the fuck, going way back. Um, I think I had like $200 or $300 in my bank account, and whatever type of cigarettes I was smoking at the time, I don't remember. Probably the same thing I was smoking through this time, but I think they were Mavericks. They were cheap, the cheap-ish,
Hmm.
almost like a knockoff Marlboro type. I guess I've
Yeah.
had both, and they're clearly not as good, but cheaper. So, again, 200-300 bucks I had. That went like fucking really quick. I mean, I don't know how quickly, but it went, doing whatever it was,
Hmm.
cigarettes and this and that, and things that I'm buying, because I'm not thinking about the fact that I'm going to be there for as long as I was. So I'm just like spending money like I had it, right? So all my fucking money's gone, and then that's when mom, our mom started giving me my $20 allowance, and
Right.
I had enough. I had enough money to, at that time, I don't think I needed it for bus stuff. No, I didn't need it for the bus, but I would buy a bag of tobacco. I'd buy a box of the papers because there was,
Hmm.
when we first got to the Keating Center, what was there, two of those cigarette rollers, I
Yeah.
think.
Right. Yep.
And then sometimes tobacco would be donated. So, like house fathers and stuff like that, or guys would roll up cigarettes, and guys didn't have the money to buy anything. You could snag some free cigarettes and blah, blah, blah. And, for those of us who, had a little bit of money, we had to buy our own, and then we'd roll our own, but you sit there fucking rolling cigarettes. Then you'd end up, every once in a while, you'd buy yourself, a pack of cigarettes. So you actually had something to put the cigarettes in. But yeah, we lived off of, those fucking rolled cigarettes for a long time,
Hmm.
a long time.
Yep.
And I can't remember when. I think I started buying real cigarettes right away as soon as I got my first, let's call it my first real job. And then you
Right.
rolled cigarettes for how long? First couple years?
Yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was a while, a year and a half. I mean, um, my own until I started driving again. So yeah,
Really?
pretty much. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, that's when you were working for Sandy, and then you'd be off
Right.
wherever the fuck and get them for
Right.
next to nothing, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Over there in Missouri or whatever. Right. Down in the Carolinas and Kentucky and Virginia. And yeah, we're all cheaper. Yep.
right. Well, and I remember years ago up in like anywhere there were, Green Bay was a place that right around the casino was all Indian land. So you go to one of the gas
Hmm.
stations there, and buy cigarettes. Well, I'd buy them while I was up there because, again, I mean, it was fucking cheap as shit. I mean, comparatively,
Hmm.
but yeah, so back to the whole, and that's kind of what got us on that, was talking about the gift thing. So basically, it's we can accept gifts, and we realize the point behind it. Other people need the same or have the same needs as we do. But I just, yeah, when I wrote
Hmm.
that down, I was curious. If you kind of felt the same way that I did about that. It's hard, even,
Right.
13, almost 14 years later, to sometimes to accept gifts from people. It's weird, but maybe it's a
Absolutely.
good thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's work. It's, again, very, very mindful of making sure that I'm not taking advantage because God knows I could do
Right.
that very easily. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's the same thing, is that we got to do the work so we don't take the drink. We got to do the work so we don't become worse assholes. Because I
Hmm.
think we've admitted that we're still assholes, right? I think we've admitted
Hmm.
that. All right. So this next one that I wrote down it was from Keep It Simple. Once again, who knows when it was from, but the reading talked about being stubborn was based on fear. So you and I have talked about everything being fear based to begin with,
Mm.
or for a while anyhow. But it says, "Today I will work on accepting my stubbornness. I will use it to learn what I am afraid of." Do you think that you are stubborn? And this is my question. Do you think that you're stubborn because you're fearful, or I mean, I'm stubborn as fuck in a lot of different ways.
Hmm.
I think you are too. Do you think that comes from any sort of fear?
Hmm. Um, I'm sure it does. Um, yeah, definitely. The fear of change, which we
Right.
hate. So yeah, definitely. I'm set in my ways. No, you're a fucking idiot. Um, right. Yes, and again, the fucking balance shit, man. You know, stubbornness comes out with trying not allowing people to help me, not allowing and then again the fear of not and because I know what I'm capable of and I figure everybody else is capable of that too. Yeah, it's again, I'm still working on this shit, people.
Right.
My stubbornness, right.
Well, and it was interesting because I've been reading Keep It Simple. I think for God, you've been reading it for what, 2 years now? So I think I've been reading it for three
Yeah, I
plus.
think I'm starting my 3rd year. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I've been reading it long enough where clearly I would have come across that before, but I remember the fact that we've talked so much about, and the readings do it. I think the big book gets into it, and all these other things that we read about. Fear being that main component behind a lot of things. But I
Mhm.
just I didn't remember. I didn't remember associating it with stubbornness, but and I suppose, but you made a good point. Stubbornness, comes down to the change, or
Mhm.
maybe being afraid of how something will turn out, if we don't do it. Because even if I don't know, we get used to setting your ways and all those sort of things. Yeah, we've got all the excuses about
Mhm.
why we're stubborn, but yeah, I mean, even I think back I mean, before I got sober though. So Dawn is a very I'll call her strong-willed. I was stubborn and a prick, and I call her more strong-willed. I mean, probably stubborn she is, but I'll just go with strong-willed on that. But you get two people that are like that going back and forth, and sooner or later one person wants to give, and one person's not going to be happy about it. And being
Mhm.
the fact that I was not only a prick in general, I mean narcissistic and all those different things, but I was far more stubborn and far more. I wasn't as willing to even look at other ideas or look at other options. To look at
Right.
change, like you said. So, my
Mhm.
stubbornness, I think, has gotten better, but. I don't know. I mean, I try to look at things, anything like that, knowing that somehow, some way, it's fear based. I I don't want to say I look for the fear and everything, but if I can't
Mm.
understand why I'm acting some way, I do. Now I try
Mhm.
to look and figure out, is this fear
Right.
based? Because
What
a
am I
lot of times
afraid
it is.
of?
Right, which
Yeah.
is not always easy.
Mm-mm. No. No, it's not. But but the results of it tend to be pretty damn good because then we're not afraid because we've looked
Right.
at it and we go, oh, all right. Right. Yeah. And again, it's a lot of times it's trust issues and stuff like that too, and faith and that leap of faith that letting go of control. I mean, God knows control is a big fucking my problem, and that's manifests itself in stubbornness. There's my air quotes. Um, yeah, I'm stubborn because I don't want to let go. I don't want to loosen up and allow things to happen in ways that may not be the way that I want them to happen. But hey, guess what? If I've learned anything in doing this shit, I've learned that my way is not always right. Write that down.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that goes back to, and I know we've talked about it before, but and I don't have this written down. It just reminded me of it. So the first thought wrong, which is something that we were
Mm,
taught, or it was said to us along the way. Do you still feel that this just has to do with what you just said? Do you still like feel that way, that usually your first thought is wrong, or do you at least pause on that, or what do you think about that?
I mean, the percentage has certainly gone down. Yeah.
Right.
I will give 7 out of 10 times now, as opposed to 10 out of 10, 14 years ago. Right. Yeah. 7 out of 10 times now, my first thought generally is wrong. So three times it's hey, what do you a good thought.
Right.
Still working on it. I'm hoping by the time I'm done, it's 5 out of 5, half and half. That's what I'm shooting for.
Right. Well, and as I was thinking about that when I was asking you, is that even if my first thought, let's say, I don't know, run it through anything, whether we're running it, through the absolutes, running it by another person, whatever the deal is, you
Hmm.
know, looking at that first thought, and when it comes out to the point where, hey, that was the right thing, I'm still
Mm,
glad that I took a minute, to take a look at it,
mm,
because I think that we've talked about this before, that there's still this lack of trust that we have in ourselves.
mm. Oh,
We still
absolutely.
want to, which is, it's like, yeah, we don't have to ask somebody if is this the right way to wipe my ass. I mean, I don't think
Mm,
I've been
mm.
doing that well enough, I think, for the for the last, well, at least 14 years, 13 and
Right.
whatever. but
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. These light things that we go through, that we're 55 and 56-year-old men, um, but we still, I mean, what seems to be maybe the simplest things, we go to somebody else, and that's because that's what we're thought, that's what we're taught, what we were taught.
Hey,
Um, it's
right.
always best, to share it or bounce it off of somebody just in case, right?
Hmm. Right. Absolutely. 7 out of 10 times, it's fucking wrong coming out of my head.
When you said the seven, I thought you had grown to the point of actually, being right seven times. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
you're giving
play
yourself a lot of credit, but it's I let
no.
it I let it play out. I let it work its
Uh-huh.
way out before I asked that question. But yeah,
I,
you got
I
back
I
around to
appreciate that. Yeah. Oh
it.
yeah.
So the
No,
other
I know
thing that,
better.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You know
No,
better.
no,
Good.
I said I know better. Yes, right. And with this video thing, our fucking delay a bit more off than it usually is. So yes, we're stepping on each other a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I'm getting a delay from you, but I noticed that there was a couple of times when I noticed that you paused just for that split second before you answered. So I was kind of
Hmm.
catching on that there might be a delay on your end. So okay.
Yep.
But I'm hoping I'm hoping that once this magic fucking studio that we paid, $200 or $300 a year for,
Right.
actually works
No,
all this shit out in
I'm
the
sure
end.
the audio, the actual podcast is going to be fine. Again, I don't like this fucking video shit.
Well, and you know what? I mean, at this point, and here's what, and I think that, I mean, as far as I can tell right now, and I popped over to it a couple of times. I have not seen anyone pop into the studio part yet. I don't know
Hmm.
if anyone's popped into, to YouTube, but I mean, what we're going to end up doing is same thing. If you're listening to this podcast version, hop over to our YouTube channel, and worst case scenario, at least give us some fucking feedback. Is this is this even worth our time to do it? Because we have the ability for people to, if you connected, and I've got it all over the fucking posts I did on Instagram. Um, if you went over to our YouTube channel while we're doing this live, and then hey, yeah, there we are. Hey, and I know there's a delay. There's a delay on the YouTube side of things, but um, if if you went over to our YouTube channel while we were doing this, and if you're on a computer, not on your phone, you can actually enter the studio with us, and you could be one of the people, and you can have a conversation with us. You can come in here and be live with us. So that we thought might be cool, or you can put a question in the chat box, whatever you want to do. But that's why we wanted to try this, to try to make things a little bit more interactive. We've had people over the time frame, because we're coming up on 2 years doing this. People have said you should do an episode about questions. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So yes, we've been thinking about this for a fucking year, and now we're doing it. So somebody join in. So that's kind of what we were talking about. But
Right.
yeah. But yeah, so after all said and done, if you're listening to the podcast version, at least pop over and take a look at this, and see, if it's something that seems like, maybe it'll take us, a couple of weeks to build up some sort of an audience. Maybe we do this once a month or whatever the deal is, or maybe we fucking never do it again. I don't know. Who knows,
Right.
right?
Right.
he's right.
Right. I don't know. I just shared it and did what I was supposed to do. I did my part. God damn it.
All right. So there. Boom. All right. So one of the other things that I had written this down a long time ago, but you actually brought it up. We were talking about something, I think, in last week's episode, and you brought up the term or the saying, it's an inside job. The fact that I think we were talking about it's an inside job, but we need other people's help and blah, blah, blah. So it was a while ago that I wrote down the sayings, but I mean, to you, what is, Mike, what does it's an inside job mean to you? Over to you,
Well,
Mike.
Bill. Well, Bill. Actually, that was a quote from, well, he hates the term grand sponsor, but Bob,
Right.
Joe's sponsor. And, right, yes. Our sponsor's sponsor. Right.
Yeah,
That was his line, is his line, yeah, it's an inside job, which to me always meant I've got to do the work, no outside influence is going to do this work for me, being again, my old self, the lazy taker, do it for me. You're doing it wrong, but do it for me anyway.
Right.
Being I was. So glad I'm not that person anymore. But
Right.
yes, it's an inside job. I've got to do the work. I've got to look at myself. I've got to see garbage inside of me and make the changes myself. Know it, I get the outside influences from other in the program and the steps but it's all me and it's all inside of me. There's nothing outside of me that's going to make these fundamental to make me a sober person, and it's not putting down the bag, the bottle, and it's doing the work to change myself to make me a better person. So I don't have to pick that bottle and that bag back up to try to cover up the fact that I'm a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah. And it was just, there was other AA sayings that we had talked about, but I don't remember why I had that one written down specifically. But probably just because, and I didn't realize or I didn't remember that came from. So that's not in any literature or books or anything like that, to the best of your knowledge, is it? Or
No, I don't think I've read it anywhere. No, that
okay,
was Bob saying that. It's an inside
okay,
job, man. And he said it a lot.
right. Yeah, and I just for the life of me, I wouldn't have had you not brought that up, and I'm sure we've talked about it before, but I would not have remembered that. But yeah, and that is the weird thing though, that and we've talked about this before, and I know that I put it in because once again I'm simple as fuck, and I'm a visual person, all those sort of things, and for me, it's kind of like that I look at it from a sports side of things, and I look at it from an academic side of things. If whatever football game you want to talk about that's coming up this weekend, if each team walked on the field and said, "Here's my playbook," and the other one, "There's my playbook," and they studied it and they said, "We're going to do every one of these plays step by step throughout the game. You'll know how to defend us or, to be offensive against us." So even if they had all that stuff, if the defense doesn't do the right thing, those guys that are out there on the field at that time, it doesn't fucking matter that somebody else gave them that. Same thing. You walk into a room and somebody says, "Here, take this test, but here's all the answers right here. All you got to do is put this next to you, and on your test, you just copy the answers." If you sit there with your thumb up your fucking ass and don't write anything down, don't do the work, right? You're still going to fail the test. So that's kind of the point with this, is that we had and still do, around the Cleveland area and with the group of friends that we have and that sort of thing. We got so lucky to begin with, to be placed with and surrounded by and engulfed with Cleveland AA and the guys that we had and the meetings that we have and the direction. And if you want to call it that way and get fucking mushy, the love and care that we got from these guys, that they actually fucking cared about us even when we didn't give a fuck, didn't give a shit, so, and they said, "Just do this, kid, sit down, shut up, blah, blah, blah," all these Marty, go to all these meetings, settle
Right.
down, it'll be okay, settle down, and none of that matters because they can talk to us till we're blue in the face. If we don't listen,
Right.
we're fucked. So
hmm
that goes
Right.
back to the inside job.
Absolutely.
Okay. A very simple saying, but a lot of meaning behind that,
Mm.
Mike. All right, Mike,
hmm
back to me.
Back.
Thank you, Mike. So later, here's the dog. Hey, look at that. Oh wow.
Mm.
Yeah, the
Intruder.
only thing, I
Stranger
fuck it.
danger.
Yeah, if so, then you're gonna
We got
see me get
video.
killed.
We could. The door's right behind you. We'll watch them come in and yeah, snap your neck. It'll be pretty
Yeah, you're
cool.
gonna see me get
Compelling
killed on
video.
fucking live video. But
Nice.
yeah, that's all three of the dogs barking. The only thing fuck it, who cares? If somebody's breaking in, fuck them. Boom.
Right. Right.
All right. I have another one from. Here's one. Here's on a lighter note.
Mm.
I pray that I may live so that I will not be afraid to die. Now that was from the 24
Mm.
hour book. I understand what they're
Right.
talking about, but when you read something like that, what is that? I don't know. How do you interpret that? It's not meant to be a death thing necessarily or a downer, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean I'm gonna paraphrase it and butcher it, but live your life so that the town gossip doesn't have or the parrot
Right.
that you live with, you don't care what it says. Yeah, live your life. Live your life so your conscience is clear. Um, Pretty good fucking advice, man. Yeah. Death personally, you know. So I'm old and I'm tired, man. But
Right.
just want to lay down forever. Yes, but yeah, just again, clear conscious, man. Don't do shit that you regret that makes you feel bad. Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to quote everybody here. Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That is my religion. Works for me, man.
Right. Well, and that's one of my that one that Lincoln one is one of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
things every year because I had and it was really early in sobriety that I came across that in a again call it a meme, but in a picture post, I guess if you want to call it that, and
Right.
yeah, it comes up on Facebook and I repost that every year because it does it's one of those simple things that has a lot of meaning to it, but yeah, and that's the thing with and we've talked about and as morbid as it may seem, we've talked about that over the last I don't know, probably over the last year, maybe even since mom died, I mean, I know we talked about
Mm-hmm.
it before then too, but you know, I I'm at the point in I mean, I'd like to stick around for a little bit longer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because I want to be around. I want to, we've gotten to the point in this whole sobriety thing where I think that it's fair to say that in some cases we might even be a pleasure to be around. you know, we're not always a pleasure to be around,
Uh-huh.
but I think other our loved ones do get
Mm-hmm.
some sort of pleasure from having us around, and get some sort of
They should
positive.
cringe when we walk into a room anymore.
Right. Yeah. And then, not answer the door, not answer the phone for us. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
being there for my kids, being there for, our family members, our sister and the rest of our family members and my kids. And, I've got a grandchild and, um, so yeah, I'd like to stick around for them, but also, I don't want to be, I'm at this point right now. And the same thing, and we talked about this 100% when mom died, is that the one thing that I was really happy about and content with is that there was no regrets that I had
Mm-hmm.
when she passed. Beyond the point when yes, I would have liked her to stick around a little bit more. Would have been nice,
Sure.
But there weren't any unsaid words, any problems that were not worked through. We
Mm-hmm.
had, I had made my amends to her years ago. There wasn't any of this tension. We had some of the tension with her trying to move and all that stuff, but that was just
Mm-hmm.
that
That's just
that was
life
life
shit.
stuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just life stuff. It wasn't any deep stuff where when she passed away, I'm like, fuck, man, I didn't have a chance to fix this.
Mhm.
I didn't have
Mhm.
those regrets,
Right.
and I don't think I don't think that there's nobody that I know of that's waiting for an apology from me right now today.
Mm. Mhm.
And I don't think, if there is somebody out
Mm.
there and I don't know it, if they end up, busting through the door and saying, "Hey, fucker, do you remember that
Right.
day?" I mean,
That's why the dogs were
I'll,
wired.
yes, yeah. One of my amends just broke into the house. um, and one of the people that I've harmed. Um,
Right. But yeah,
but
and that's the thing. Right. And we haven't continued to pile that shit up over the past,
right,
13 and a half years or whatever. Right. Yeah, we've been fixing all the crap that we did before, and we're not creating new situations that are going to require us to apologize. And right, yeah, again, inside job and living good, doing the next right. So if we're doing the next right thing, then we're not doing those, and we're not. Yeah, there isn't anybody. Yeah, me
right.
neither. Pretty fucking cool.
It is because I mean, it's TV and it's movies and all that stuff, but I mean, I know this shit
Mm.
happens in real life when, some family member gets sick, some older family member, and then, they're calling for people to come by their bedside, and then either
Mhm.
they're confessing these things that they've been holding for their entire lives, or trying to
Mhm.
make their peace, and I'm sure a lot of those people are trying to, get right with God, which
Mhm.
you and I don't think we have to worry about that, um,
Nope.
but one way or the other. So, and here's the thing. I got to tell you a little sideline on this before I say what I was going. Well, if I could say it, even if there is a God, um, I'm living my life the right way. Where even that this visionary thing, I don't think
Mhm.
it's going to look at me and be like, hey motherfucker. So
Mhm.
either way, so there was a post on Facebook the other day, and this was from he's one of us. He is part of the group that the club that you and I went to up in
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Um, he was never really uh he was a meeting acquaintance, decent guy. I had nothing
Right.
against him. We were cordial together, never hung out outside of that. I mean, weren't real close, didn't shoot the shit a lot. I wasn't close to him in any way, shape, or form, but decent guy. He's got I think 6 months, 7 months less than us, roughly in that area. But
Right.
around the same amount of time. But he
Mhm.
posted something on Facebook, and it was this long thing, and I don't read much of what he says because it's just blurbs that people put on Facebook. But I could
Sure.
see it was this long thing, and you click open, I'm like, fuck me, so I read it anyhow. And something about I don't understand why all these people out here have such troubles with those of us who believe in Jesus and this and that and
Mm.
whatever. You do this and I'll do that, and go through all this different shit. And I'm reading this and I'm like, why do you fucking care? You know,
Right.
I'm thinking two things. Why do you care about any other fucking heathens out there if that's what you think they
Mm.
are? Which he didn't put that, but you know what I mean. Why do you care what other people do and what other people are posting,
Mhm.
anything like that? But on top of that, why are you putting this shit on fucking Facebook? I'm
Mhm.
like, and and I wanted so bad just to say anything. I don't even know what I wanted to say, but I wanted to say something. But I'm just like scroll, 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 scroll. But I'm like, he's going through all this different stuff. And the thing that reminded me of it is when I just said, I think I'm living a life that even this mystical God creature would be happy with.
Mhm.
Um,
Sure.
but he's sitting there, he's like, okay, so if all of us Jesus people, all of us God people are wrong, you know, we have nothing to lose. But if we're right, hey, kind of like,
Mhm.
hey,
Right.
I'll get in and you're not. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yep.
I'm living the same goddamn life as you are. I know
Mhm.
you. I know you. I know the
Right.
shit you've done. You've been sober the same amount of fucking time as me. You're living a good
Uh-huh.
life. You're a decent fucking
Sure.
guy. So am
Right.
I. So are you, Mike.
Me.
And so are all these other fucking people who are God people or not. We're all doing the same goddamn thing. It doesn't fucking matter. But on
Nope.
top of that, it blows my mind that people I don't know. I don't like when people do that on Facebook. Kind of like it's almost like if it's a waste of internet ink.
Mm. Right. Yeah, yeah, it's, but it makes them somehow, I guess. So whatever. I
Right.
mean, you took the time to fucking read it, man. I know I
I
wouldn't
know.
have.
I know. But it's yeah, I know. But I think that the thing that kind of just blows my mind even more as I thought about it is that, supposedly aren't the God people supposed to be non-judgmental, and that's kind of what this
Mhm.
his whole post was
Oh,
about.
there's
Just
supposed to be a lot of things. Right, right, right. Yeah. Again,
supposed
you
to
you know
be a
what,
lot
man?
of things.
Right. Lots of things are some things.
Right.
Again, yeah. For me, I keep it simple. Be a good boy. All the rest of it can shake itself out, man. Let them whirl.
Right. Let them whirl. See, and again, I love that, and I don't use that ever, and I should.
Mm, mm.
I was gonna say I don't use that enough, but I don't use it ever, and I always forget until you bring it up. But um, okay, I was looking at one more thing here. I'm sorry. I was trying to read my sentence. I should have just fucking read it out loud because that's more fun anyhow. All right,
Right.
so fuck it. One last thing on here. So this is once again, from Keep It Simple. Two thoughts will always mess up if we let them in. They are yes, but, and what if. So there's
Mm,
two thoughts, thought over here to thought over here. The first thought is yes, but, and the other one is what if. So
mm-hmm.
I thought about that and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. So those will always mess up. They'll always mess us up if we let those in.
Well, I mean, what if is pretty self-explanatory. What if? I don't know. Fucking what if, man? Shit out clouds and of gold and spun. Yeah, what if? What if is not real and who cares? And yes, but means nothing. Yes, but means yes. Uh, why even say yes? Because you don't mean it if you're throwing a butt after
Right.
it. So just
Right.
oh, nonsense, man. I don't have time for nonsense anymore. I am too
Right.
old. I'm too tired. What if is fantasy, and I don't live in fantasy anymore. I live in reality. And yes, but is contradicting yourself before you even get to the point. So don't do it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I looked at the yes, but is that's kind of an easy one for me because that to me is rejecting, you know, it's rejecting a possible idea and rejecting possible change that could be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Right.
says you have to do this, yeah, but no, yeah, but you have to do this, or if you do this, you'll get better. Yeah, but no, yeah, but that sort of thing. And the what if as a question mark, I look at it the other way and say, yeah, what if? So if somebody says, well,
Mm,
what if this happens? Well, yeah, but what if the other thing happens? I try to
mm-hmm.
throw the other in my head, throw the other spin on it. It's kind of like if not, why not type of thing. But if
Yeah.
I don't do this, well, why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I even look back at it at the point when people say, why me? And I'm like, well, why not me? And that's
Right.
well, and I mean that on a good side and a bad side. When
Mhm.
bad shit happens to me, I'm like, fuck it, man. Why me? Well, who am I so fucking great that I don't deserve, something that's not super positive? But on the other hand, when something really good happens, I shouldn't question that. Like, okay, so easy one. Why do we get to stay sober for, coming up on 14 years and other people have to
Mhm.
fucking die? Well, why not?
Right.
Why why us? Why not us? Well, I know why us because we did the fucking work.
Exactly. Yeah, we worked. They didn't. Period.
Right. Right. But I don't know. It was just one. it was.
Yeah,
It was just. It
but
was really.
but yeah, but
Yeah, but. And as
mhm.
I was reading that though, it didn't make any fucking sense to me. I'm like, what the fuck did I did I write down? And again, not write down. It's typed so I could read this shit, but that's why I was sitting there with that mild silence there for a minute. So, and you know what? A real podcast would go ahead and edit out that silence in there.
Sure.
So it was
Thankfully,
funny.
we're
So
not a real podcast.
right. So last thing. So Amanda, that we're going to end up more than likely having on. I haven't heard back from her yet for sure to get her scheduled, but she's an author, one of our followers. She has a podcast, wrote the book, the whole bit. But she and I were messaging back and forth, and I told her, I'm like, yeah, we don't edit anything. And she said she doesn't edit content, but does edit out silence and this and that.
Right.
And because she said that, the majority of her listeners, she's like, people have a very short attention span, which I agree with. But I'm like, we don't give a fuck. We just want it to be like natural, whatever. Like, yeah, people have said that it's kind of like being a fly in the wall for two buddies having a conversation. She's like, yeah, we've gotten the same thing, kind of like somebody sitting in with a cup of coffee. But she's like, maybe we have a different set of listeners. I'm like, two things. Yes, probably. But I said the other thing is, I'm like, fuck it. We just do it this way because we're not changing. We in the beginning we're like, this is how we're going to do it, which is kind of like nothing. And then in the end we're like, yeah, now we're not going to fucking change. But what if?
Yeah, but
yeah, but why don't we be fucking done? I think that's the yeah, but right.
You know what? That sounds like a damn fine idea to me.
All right, brother, back to you to close us out.
Ooh, the video version. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't fucking tell you did it. Stop being a braggart. And now it is that time. That time, kids. It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I was sitting here going, dream the impossible dream.
I saw you.
I know. I was doing that to try to fuck you up because you said that you weren't trying to look at the camera in the video or anything. But all right,
I saw you flapping around over there.
Don't mind me and my flapping. But yeah. So anyhow, so I don't know. Maybe this is the first and the last time we'll ever do video. But we'll get some feedback and see what's what, and fucking go from there. Right.
Right. All right.
Yeah. All right. So whatever. I think we're done. So you know what? I love you, brother, and I will talk to you soon.
Love you
all
too.
Right? All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.